Riga repair. Two things needed repairing. The spaceship had a hole in the hull. That required fixing, and Riga herself needed some internal repairs. On the reasons, she flew into the uncharted peak in an uncharted planet. This was in addition to fixing any damage the pink snow or lack if air did to her. The aliens could actually grow a new Riga if need be. They were aliens after all, but they wanted to make the real Riga fine first. She was immediately checked out aboard their shuttle craft while in the mothership that waited in orbit. All the craft were round discs. Riga's craft, the one that had picked her up in the mothership. The pickup ship had lifted up damaged craft. All went to the mother craft. Repairs would be done soon. The hole would be grown shut and other damage sorted out. It wasn't like fixing a car. It was high tech. Earthlings only had a very basic understanding. Riga was smarter than most. However, she had a coaching opportunity not to fly her craft into a mountain, and to also leave the shields up. What was she thinking? A one-on-one session was needed to find out the 5 whys. An alien who was a manager did this. Riga was more than willing. She still had a lot to learn so she could ascend to the next level. Not just learn, but grown and help take humanity to the next level. This is what it was all about. It had started with Mother Juniper, then her daughter, and now Riga. There would be no more flying into 16-mile-high peaks. What would follow was exploring uncharted planets. The universal path was linear, at least in this reality. Riga belonged in this reality, at least for now. There were positives in a damaged disc and coachable issues. Riga Alpha Sport. Riga had some savings. She bought a brown-colored sports car. It was Italian. It had to be from Italy. They built the best ones, not the fastest or costliest, but the best looking, and it had to be an Alpha. Riga drove her 2-seater up over the mountain roads. This car was 60 years old. Legend had it that Marlon Brando once owned it when he was here filming. Now Riga ascended a steep hillside road. The engine growled as she climbed in second gear. The wind blew her hair and her shades hid her eyes. The radio played Rammstein. It was good music for mountain setting along Italy's Adriatic coast. Everything here was dramatic. Riga was dramatic if small. The German heavy metal music was dramatic. The mountains were dramatic. The Alpha was dramatic. All dramatic in the right way. A small car with a little 2-liter petrol engine. How could this be so much fun? A simple 4-gear shift box and the most basic features. No seat belts or crash protection. But you wouldn't crash this car, would you? Not the Alpha that Brando once drove. Riga loved this vehicle from first sight. She bought it and that was that. A car like this had to be driven over mountain roads, not by the coast or in the city, over those steep winding mountain roads, especially an Alpha. Going up over the crest of the peak Riga was rewarded with such a view. A mile below was the distant sea and numerous fishing villages. She pulled over and parked at a tiny levee. The sun was bright and sky a pure blue. This was perfect. How could it be not? If asked to describe beauty, it was this, the feeling of now, this moment, ownership of this time and her life. In a classic antique sports car once owned by Marlon Brando, the diminutive gal felt overwhelmed. Tears of joy came to her eyes. She blinked them away and tapped the wooden steering wheel. Yes, this was her moment. Few things equal this. In an Alpha a mile above the ground in sunny Italy by the Adriatic coast. If only my dad could see me now. Does he know how happy I am right now? Time paused. Yet in reality the moment passed. Riga sighed and nodded. She started the car and slowly pulled onto the road. Later she decided she would eat pizza. This was Italy. Riga checking. Your boyfriend wants to date my small friend, just as I did for 2 years. Little Riga looked lovely. She was sat down in the aircraft hangar. Nearby was her fighter plane, her eyes closely focused on the bullets. Hundreds of machine gun bullets, shiny like jewelry. She counted each round and checked for damage. An imperfect bullet could jam her guns. She did the same with the cannon shells. All were food for her Messerschmitt 309's guns. She trusted her armorers but liked to be sure. She got them to teach her their trade. How to disassemble each weapon after removing it from the aircraft. How to clean it. How to check each bullet and shell. A yellow ribbon tied her black hair back. Her glasses were on the table. Riga squinted at each shot. Gold and copper colored. Pretty killing things. She slotted each one into a blue nylon belt. This went from the full ammo box through the gun to the empty box. Riga was only wearing green army shorts. Her legs looked desirable. The belt and shiny bullets lay across both thighs. It was a surreal, pretty, and deeply erotic image. her thighs tight against the thin fabric. Some male pilots were checking their own weapons and rounds. They glanced over to the gal when she wasn't looking. This was why she faced them checking the shots, to raise their blood pressure. She did this discreetly, knew what buttons to push, why her shorts were one size too small, why she wore them, why she wore no bra, why she was Riga. She was good, and allowed to do this. Moral and desire increased to the sky and got results. Shot down enemy planes. Little Riga checking her bullets. Only a combat pilot, yet so much more. All things to all men, especially those already taken. If the way she handled herself, looked at you or flirted with you, even if she said she didn't, nobody was like her. No other gal checked bullets this way, just look at her smile.